You know who's not delaying his announcement for running for president? That's right, Joe Brandon, the current president. He's running for re-election. Oh my God, we were so shocked. Let's take a look.
Now official in writing, right there, also in video, President Biden says he wants to finish the job and wants to beat what he calls MAGA extremism again.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
It was exactly 4 years ago today that Biden threw his hat in the ring for 2020 and warned voters then about Donald Trump's rhetoric. Let's go to the White House now. CNN's Arlette Saenz is there. Arlette, we've seen the president on video today. What do we expect from him live and in person?
Well, John, in a little over an hour, President Biden will be holding his first public event.
What the fuck? What are they mowing the lawn of the White House? God damn it. Wait, what's happening back there? The buzzing is like ridiculous.
And since officially rolling out his re-election bid, the president is expected at around 12:30 to speak at a union conference here in Washington.
What do you mean? For people saying like, why is he running? Are you crazy? The incumbent's advantage is dramatic. It's very important. It doesn't matter if he's 700 years old. It's too late. He already won one time when he was old, knowing full well that, like, you know, by the second time he was running, he was going to fucking run again. Giving up the incumbent's advantage and just like having an unknown entity where the Democratic Party's lineup is not exactly strong to begin with is going to be silly from the perspective or from the opinion of the DNC. You know what I mean? It makes total sense. Having someone go up against, like having someone take the mantle from him could have been an option, but instead we went with Kamala fucking Harris as the VP. So good luck with that. Imagine, do you want the Republican Party to like absolutely fucking dominate the field with their dog shit fucking candidates? Because if there's one person who can't beat Donald Trump in a toe-to-toe matchup, it's the charisma black hole, Kamala motherfucking Harris. So not only does she suck, but also on top of that, on top of her personally sucking, the Biden admin also cucked her and put her in charge of like every annoying, awful, you know, make work, fuck right off, piece of shit job. They didn't exactly fucking tailor her VP. They did not exactly tailor her to be the next suitor, to be the runner-up as the vice president, to be the president. So that was awful, absolutely fucking devastating from the DNC side. A lot of people are saying gruesome Newsom. I mean, sure. That, you know, last time we had a fucking California governor become president, it was devastating for the United States of America. His name was Ronald Reagan. Now, but who knows? Who knows? There isn't an option better that can get enough people to agree in the Democratic Party. I don't think that Joe Biden is going to activate the base. He's not going to motivate the base, but who knows? Who knows? If Bernie Sanders runs again, you know where I'm staying. You know, I'm gonna absolutely fucking vote for him illegally and campaign for him and want everybody to vote for him, especially in the primaries. There are people that could be interesting, and some of which are controversial, some of which are not. J.B. Pritzker could be an interesting person to run potentially in the Democratic for the Democratic presidency inevitably down the line. Gretchen Whitmer is another one that's like controversial in this space, but probably could do a decent job. As far as like female candidates goes, I think Big Gretch is, pretty solid. You have Governor Gruesome Gavin Newsom, who doesn't really make a lot of waves nationally in a negative way. So that's kind of good. Even Donald Trump has said positive things about him, which is like pretty wild. Like he is somehow able to avoid the intense national scrutiny that like prominent Democrats get, partially because he's the governor of California, but they would just be like, oh my God, California is a fucking mess. You want everyone to be California if he ran. The young vote is moving towards Williamson. Yes, dude, totally. Look, I love candidates like Marianne Williamson. I think it's great that she's running. But if you legitimately think that because like TikTok is promoting her a lot, that she's genuinely moving the fucking needle, I don't know what to tell you. You are literally just, wake up, please. Snap the fuck out of it, okay? It is perhaps, it's interesting to see what will happen with like how much TikTok can genuinely shift democratic politics, but I suspect that you are out of your fucking mind, I think, if you think that she's like just like Chang gangers. Yeah, Yang, you mean, right? The Yang gangers, isn't that what it was called? Like the Yang gang, not Chang, you fucking weirdo, or Chan. It's funny because like Chan gang does make sense, not just for Andrew Yang, but for like a litany of other crank candidates that were propped up because they were like 4chan picks, you know what I mean? And they were not nationally prominent, you know what I mean? I think that's a dumb take. Williamson is doing pretty good so far. What metric are you saying Marianne Williamson is doing pretty good so far? Where is this coming from? Have you looked at a singular poll? Like, she has no fucking mainstream media coverage, possibly by design. Okay, like you probably have seen like the Ostonox thread or something. I don't know. Which as much as I love Ostonox, I do heavily disagree. I haven't even read that fucking thread, but there is no. That's not happening, dude. These people are crazy. There will be no debates. The Biden record, 12 million new jobs, inflation down 50% from its peak, record wage growth, real GDP growth in Q1, still at 2.5% bipartisan infrastructure act, CHIPS and Science Act, Inflation Reduction Act, largest climate investment in U.S. history. Yeah, see, Faustini is actually good for this kind of shit. Let's be real, okay? If we're going to do electoralism for a brief moment and we're going to talk about like elections from the perspective of a two-party political structure where both parties are actually beholden and enslaved by the bourgeois interests, yes, this kind of attitude is actually something that you're going to see a lot on CNN and MSNBC, and there is some truth to it, of course. Obviously, if you are a little bit interested in electoral politics while also simultaneously a leftist person, like a legitimately leftist person, you recognize that Faustini literally just brought up every single talking point that shows how far the Biden agenda has fallen short of the actual promises that it had made, okay? But, he is a neoliberal Democrat at the end of the day, even though he claims that he's not. And neoliberals got a neolib, you know what I mean? Oh, man, it's not. Politics is the art of what's possible, sir. That's why we got to make concessions before we fucking move forward. Notice how this dude did not fucking bring up one of the most tangible and important fucking things that the Biden administration did, which was the abolition of student loan debt relief, the abolition of student loans. Why the fuck would you not bring that up? That is gigantically important. But guess what? One, it's being held up in the courts in some ways. Two, neoliberals don't give a fuck about actual tangible policies that like dramatically change people's lives. And three, okay, the Biden administration is not even pushing for that much. Ending the Afghan war is a big one, but unfortunately that's been sullied by the mainstream media. Liberal mainstream media absolutely did everything they can to shit on him for doing that, saying basically saying I thought you would be proud of me for not bringing up foreign policy, and I didn't mention student loans because of the courts. No, student loans is important. And as far as foreign policy goes, the Afghan relief withdrawal was actually not bad. What we did after the withdrawal was way worse. Anyway. Was the Afghan agreement not made before Biden was president? It doesn't matter. The person who had the moral courage to follow through on that was Joseph Robinette Biden. And I will always respect him for that. You know, I don't give a shit what people say. I defended him back then. There are two major policy, there are two major policy moments that I have aggressively defended in the Biden administration. Student loan debt relief was one of them, which they haven't done enough advocacy for some fucking weird reason. Freaks. And two, Afghanistan withdrawal was actually great. Biden, on the other hand, has been very dramatically anti-union, had a tremendous amount of opportunity with the IRA to ensure that like any kind of infrastructure spending or any kind of fucking contracts that we offer to foreign capital or even, companies that want to open up factories here, because we have a shitload of money for renewable energy lined up, climate investments that he was talking about. Those investments could have been conditional. They could have been, hey, like with one easy fucking move, Biden could have said, we're giving you the money faucet. That means you have to have unionized workplaces. Could you imagine? That's how you do. That's politics, right? I mean, that's not everything. That's not immediately fucking turning around and like instituting a communist utopia. That's just like within the boundaries of reason. Something that other countries do all the fucking time. He could have done that. He didn't do that. He didn't push for that. Every single legislative agenda item that Joseph Robinette Biden has pushed for, that he claimed he was going to get through, has been eviscerated, shred to fucking bits by the rotating villain within the Democratic Party before it even reaches the other side of the fucking aisle. Kyrsten Sinema and Joseph Manchin have deliberately and successfully made piecemeal out of made mincemeat out of every single fucking thing that the Biden admin has tried to put together, and they got no punishments for it. Kyrsten Sinema even fucked right off after getting the greatest gift of all time, okay, as a green senator, as like a second-term, first-term senator, being allowed to be the signatory and like the crafter of the massive bipartisan infrastructure, massive bipartisan infrastructure legislation, and then fucking right off and turning around and doing this and being like, I'm actually fucking independent now, dog. Like, that is so disrespectful. It's so fucked up. Like, I'm talking about this from the perspective of like someone who, I'm putting my Democratic Party hat on for a second to just like make that assessment here. And it is the greatest cucking. It is such an aggressive cucking. Sneeko looks at situations like that. Okay. Sneeko looks at that and goes, oh my God, I wish I was the Democratic Party. I wish I was sitting at the head of the DNC right now because, oh my God, I just got ass fucked by literally the big hulking bull that fucked my wife. Okay. That is what Kyrsten Sinema, okay, the most annoying person on the fucking planet, was able to do to the Democratic Party, okay? A cucking that was so public, a shellacking that was so gross in many respects that, like, Sneeko starts drooling when he thinks about how humiliating that is for the Democratic leadership.
Washington, D.C. as he looks to highlight his ties to the labor community, but it also highlights the strategy of how the president will be deployed in the coming months. Advisors say not to expect the president to be out there on the campaign trail holding these large-style rallies. Instead, they believe that one of his main selling points to the American people will come as he's simply doing the job as president. So he will be speaking at that union event today. He is also, over the course of the next 2 days, hosting the South Korean president here at the White House. A bit later today, Vice President Kamala Harris will be speaking at a reproductive rights rally at a time when abortion has been a mobilizing issue for Democrats. But this all comes as the president is officially rolling out his campaign. The president really trying to draw comparisons to his 2020 launch when he had warned that there was a battle for the soul of the nation. He is saying that that battle is not yet complete and he needs another 4 years in the White House. He is also trying to warn that American freedoms are under siege by
Please tell us the center-left party in any post-industrial economy that's been more successful than the U.S. Democratic Party since 2018. UK, no. France, no. Sweden, no. Finland, no. The list goes on. They're resting on the laurels. Wait, what a fucking stupid take this is, dude. What are you talking about? First of all, this is an insane comparison to make because they're already riding on the fucking laurels of like, you know how the United States of America rests on the shoulders of the FDR New Deal agenda, okay? This guy, Faustini, claims to be an FDR New Deal Democrat, right? So he should respect that sentiment, right? That's literally what the fuck every European country is sitting on top of. What do you mean? They have only been able to withstand neoliberal evisceration exclusively because of everything that like the trade unionists and communists did before them. What the fuck are you talking about? That's the reason why in countries like the ones that you just mentioned, okay, it's completely out of the question to privatize certain key components. And every single time they do that, every single time that does happen, there is massive public outcry, massive public backlash. The idea that like center-left parties are super successful, and noticeably, by the way, you mentioned UK. What are you talking about? What are the Lib Dems doing? That's the center-left party, right? Are the Lib Dems even a viable fucking part of any coalition in this country? In the UK? Where is the center-left Lib Dems at? They're nowhere to be fucking found. They're a joke. UK Labour clearly to the right of the US Democratic Party right now. Even with Keir Starmer, UK Labour is not clearly to the right of the US Democratic Party right now because the UK at the very least has viable labor unions that still have a lot of outside influence on what the fuck the Labour Party does. You are out of your fucking mind. These countries that you're referencing, you're making up metrics in your mind to like make them seem like they're more neoliberal than they are. I criticize UK Labour under Starmer all the fucking time. It's dog shit. It's awful. Okay, but you have to be on trans rights, on immigration, on crime, on spending. He's all to the right on Biden, brother. Of course, on trans rights or on immigration or on crime, he's to the right of Biden. On first of all, no. On trans rights and on immigration, he might be to the right of Biden. But on fucking crime, he is exactly like Joseph Robinette Biden. They both talk about how much they want to fund the police. What the fuck are you talking about? They are identical in that regard. But it doesn't matter because you're doing the liberal assessment. The liberal assessment dictates that you do not analyze the current material conditions in any country and do a blanket like, look, this person shits on trans people. Joe Biden actually said trans people are nice. Therefore, Joe Biden clears, this other nation's trans policies, as though that is any indication for the overarching attitude that they have towards social spending and social safety nets. Okay? You're wrong. You're wrong on that front. Anyway, like I said, we're talking about fucking labor, UK labor, okay, which is in its current existence is definitely closer to center left, even though that is a funny and cute little way to claim that like to take ownership of the Labor Party, a party that was built around labor, is pretty funny when Lib Dems exist. Why did you not bring up Lib Dems for some weird reason when we were talking about UK politics? Is it perhaps because you recognize that the center-left party, the real center-left party, Liberal Democrats, are actually non-viable? They are just absolutely fucking a non-entity. Is that the reason why you wanted to make yourself seem, you wanted to make it seem like, Liberal Democrats are doing the most? All because we had this conversation about like where Liberal Democrats are. They have all, or where center-left parties are in the United States, where the Democratic Party is, versus every other fucking country. The Democratic Party couldn't even increase minimum wage when they had the opportunity to do so because they brought up some fucking bullshit reason, like the Senate parliamentarian is not allowing us to do that. The idea that like the American two-party process is not insanely fucking insanely right-wing in economic policy in a country that doesn't have adequate social safety nets, nor nationalized or socialized healthcare is silly. Okay? German government and unions reach pay deal for public workers. Yeah. In the United States of America, we have no union participation in the economy. And when there is powerful unions, they turn around and fucking try to do a strike, and then Biden stops them from doing it. Okay? Even the Starmer labor, okay, under Starmer's leadership, the Labor Party basically fucking avoided talking about the potential strikes. Okay? But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, because the labor unions are still viable, they can at least like bully the party around, the party that is ostensibly on the left. This does not exist in the United States of America. Biden deported 990,000 immigrants, Trump 460,000. Nice leftist Biden. Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, regardless of what fucking Keir Starmer says or does, what you fail to consider in this process is that due to having a nationalized healthcare system, you have the Tory party in the UK literally running to the left of the Democratic Party. They are lying, right? They are going to implement austerity measures regardless, but at least they fucking lie. The Democratic Party doesn't even lie about wanting to, to fund healthcare. Whereas the Tories do. Remember, Boris Johnson lied and said after 9 years of austerity, we are going to fund the NHS. Can you imagine having an NHS? Lol, we don't have that. Or can you imagine the right-wing Republican Party being like, we are going to do socialized medicine and we're going to fund it? Nah, you're wrong. It's true that a lot of Democrats over here be Tories, but Tories are 100% to the right of the Democrats. Maybe I misheard you. Of course, Tories are still the right-wing party and very right-wing in the UK. I'm saying that if you look at the actual material conditions, though, and the actual social policies, social spending that exists in these nations, the Tories can't get away with fucking... the Tories can't get away with straight up being like, we're going to cut social safety nets. They can't. Okay? God damn, I have a headache. Let's get back to Joseph Robinette Brandon running, though.
What he has described as MAGA extremists. And in that video, he used those images from the January 6th insurrection, as well as highlighted two Republican men, one of which who could be his matchup in a general election come November 2024. Take a look.
You know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security.
I want to watch the full one, not like cut piece by piece. Labor is more center than how your right-wing, your Democrats are. What? You say that, but Labor is now running to the right of the Tories on the NHS. They're hinting at privatization. Yes. Fuck Keir Starmer. I understand that. I doubt that they will actually... I don't know what the fuck Labor is going to do. I'm sick and tired of having this conversation. The point is that there is a center-left party in the UK. They didn't even bring that up. They didn't fucking bring up the reality on the ground with a nationalized healthcare system. They didn't bring up the fact that even the Tory party, regardless of like its attempts to implement austerity measures, recognizes how unpopular it is. Okay? Here, let's just watch the full fucking ad real quick. I got sidetracked to oblivion. The Lib Dems are not center-left, Hassan. No, they're supposed to be center-left.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making...
I mean, look, the Republicans have gift wrapped someone who is not going to rock the fucking boat an absolute lock. Okay. Everything that the Republicans are doing at the state legislature level is so unimaginably insane that like a Democrat that's like, I don't want this to happen, don't you think that's crazy, is just going to look better. So, you know, you can have someone who's old, but at least has like run the country. You know what I mean? And no matter how much people try to say like the country is fucking terrible, the country's terrible, vibes across the board show Brandon looking good. Now, of course, a lot can change in the next year. The economy could, implode once again. We can have a severe recession, and people start genuinely experiencing the most devastating impacts of that. I've said this before. Donald Trump lost because COVID happened. Donald Trump would have absolutely won if COVID hadn't happened. He could have probably even won if COVID hadn't happened to him directly. Senator Bernie Sanders says he's endorsing Biden for re-election. Yeah, I mean, it's over. It's Jover.
Making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
I want to bet he didn't even get concessions from him to do this. I mean, he's 7 million years old, dude. Everybody calm down. Stop yelling at Bernie Sanders. Like, let the man fucking rest. Let the man fucking rest and you know, live his remaining days out as he tries to, I don't know, as he tries to exist on this planet.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for
It's kind of wild that, like, you were president for 4 years. Like, when Donald Trump ran, like, he kept saying, we're going to make America great again, because he didn't really have a lot of, like, bona fides to point to. It's weird that this ad doesn't show any of the things that Faustini was chirping about in the chat. Like, the least Biden could have done has been like, we gave money back to the children, Jack. You're not crippled by student loan debts. You know what I mean? Like, just point to like tangible policies, like largest infrastructure spending package of all time, Jack, and we did it bipartisan. Yeah, the only policy that gets any real airtime, yeah, Ryan is right, is voting rights, and it's also the policy he gave up on the fastest. There's a passing mention of abortion rights, of course, without saying abortion rights or even Roe, but no suggestion of what he'll do about that. Presumably, he'll codify Roe, but that's left to the imagination. Zero on what he'll do when it comes to jobs, wages, inflation, union power, healthcare. He's going to fight the MAGAs, though. When's the last time a president won an election on tangible policy? Well, here's what you got to do. There's the defensive strategy, which is like, MAGA Republicans are crazy, Jack, don't you think? Okay. And then there's the offensive shit, where you could turn around and be like, this is what we did. It's got to have a bit of both. And he hasn't talked about any of the shit that he has supposedly done. Anyway,